Hey, I'm Arnie Niekamp from the fully improvised comedy podcast Hello from the Magic Tavern. I'm here with my co-hosts, John the Talking Badger,
Bing Bong,
and Usador the Wizard.
I greet thee, listeners.
Look, I'm trapped in the magical land of Foon, so I started a podcast interviewing elves, unicorns, and other weirdos. We have great guests like Felicia Day, Jason Mantzoukas, Brennan Lee Mulligan, Amy Mann, and so many more.
Oh, and I think one time we interviewed a sentient shoe? I hope it was sentient.
Not to mention the evil people we've had to interview. How I hate evil.
Join us as we bar crawl across the magical land of Foon.
Looking for adventure.
Getting caught up in escapades.
Hello from the Magic Tavern is available right now on your favorite podcast app and ad-free and with lots of bonus content on Patreon. Subscribe to Hello from the Magic Tavern today.
Hello, listener. This is producer Jeffrey. Step into my time machine. Long ago, beginning in the ancient past of 2009, we made a show called Our Fair City. Now, Our Fair City is a sprawling epic story set in the dystopian future of Hartford, Connecticut. A climate disaster made the world outside a frozen wasteland. What remains of humanity lives inside in a largely subterranean city governed by the remains of an insurance company. Now, Our Fair City is darkly funny. You'll meet mad scientists, lightning riggers, the woken dead, giant ants, time travelers, and mole people. We are currently re-releasing Our Fair City weekly, so this is a great time to join us for a romp through the tunnels of Heartlife. After today's episode, we'll be sharing a trailer for the show. I hope you'll check it out, and I would love you to join us in our listen of Our Fair City, found wherever you're listening to this podcast right now.
You ready?
I am more than ready. I've got a joke for the opening.
Oh, that's good, because everything I had was extremely corny. Nope, I won't. I won't even. Let's hear yours.
Okay, well, no promises, but here we go. Today's episode topic. So unicorns show up uninvited. They disrupt the local ecosystem and destroy the environment without so much as saying sorry.
That's my understanding.
We've done it. We've finally found who's literally out there taking American jobs.
Oh, political.
We are taking some stances today.
Oh, I can't wait.
Someone on the radio said something about the sun going out forever in a month or so. But we all knew the end was near, nothing to be done from here. So I shake my head and off to bed I go.
Hello to you, audience. This is World Gone Wrong. I am, of course, Jamie, and with me is Malik. How are you doing today, Malik?
I'm still kind of processing how another version of me is a huge pop star.
I'm totally fair.
Looking forward to the distraction of making an episode, to be honest.
Then I shall endeavor to be as distracting as possible. We are a pair of millennials turned co-hosts turned best friends.
That's a lot of transformation, Jamie.
And we are looking at all the wild and surprising ways the world is transforming all around us. Today's episode definitely qualifies.
Yeah, we're talking about unicorns, which recently showed up in the semi-United States.
The scourge of the Rockies.
Wow, harsh.
Oh, we'll get into it.
They still sound like such a cute problem to have.
Something can be both cute and a scourge. We'll get into that too. On this unicorn-themed edition of Explain Your Dad. Or actually, you know what? By now, I feel like we've more or less explained my dad. He is known to us.
Oh, true. Explained by Dad?
Ooh, I like it. Malik, do you want to do us the honors and sing us in?
While I know that someone out there is profiting off my songs, no, thank you. I'm on strike.
Fair enough. Okay. So this is what you're in for.
Oh, God.
Hey, he gave you roughly half your DNA, whether that's good or whether it's bad. Welcome to Explained by Dad.
You had me at hey. So, like we discussed, now presented by second ever special guest Dave. Is he waiting off camera for his intro? So dramatic.
About that. He just told me on his way out the door this was the only day that worked for Carmen's son. So Dad's driving up to Boulder with Carmen so that he can meet her children. Adult children. I mean, they're like my age. One's a year younger and one's 2 years older.
Wow, high stakes.
Yeah. I mean, he already met them. They grew up around here. But this is his first time meeting them as Carmen's
Beau, significant other, boothang, lover.
Please don't. Her boyfriend.
Well, like, should you be going with him? It feels like, I don't know, if they're serious about dating, her kids would be, I mean, they could be your step-siblings at some point in the future.
Yeah, I'm aware.
You always kind of wanted siblings, didn't you?
I did. But what I wanted was to grow up with another kid. Without all the shared memories and shared histories, it's like the thing we have in common is our parents' love lives. And how long do we really want to talk about that? Besides, it's going to be weird enough for them to re-meet my dad. I didn't feel like adding to the parade.
Can a handful of people really count as a parade? Maybe if they're determined enough and they move back and forth really fast.
Besides, this is our time to record this episode.
True.
And true to form, Dad has been into the unicorn situation. He's been keeping me updated at dinner whenever there's new developments. And he also left me a ton of notes, which I have organized into a handy dandy little outline.
Back on track. Okay, let's go. Take us through it.
Wait, really?
Yes.
For real?
Yes.
Sorry, I have a whole plan and then we pivot away from it and I am excited.
Go forth and explain.
Okay, so as far as anyone can tell, a small herd of 10 unicorns first showed up in the mountains of Colorado about a year ago. It's hard to say because at the time they seem to have been sticking to more remote regions. Also, the first reports were by individual hikers, and I think back then, even though the unfucking had already begun, they weren't automatically taken seriously. Like, okay, for one thing, we've had legal recreational pot since 2012, and magic mushrooms had pretty recently become legal too. We make double entendres about high life and the air being thin on half the tourist march, so it's a whole thing.
Plus, when things kick off with werewolves and vampires and Thrune, it's hard to believe the good creatures might be around too.
Good is...
Yes, I'm making a value judgment. It's fair.
I mean, they're beautiful. I will give them that. Wait, Malik, have you seen photos?
Not really. I've seen some headlines, but there's a lot of other stuff going on right now. Not even all of the... Riley and I have been doing a ton of legal legwork on the stolen song thing. If it's not an emergency, assume I don't know about it.
Of course. I mean, that makes total sense. It's still a pretty local story anyway. Wait, hang on. I'm going to send you a close-up picture of the original herd.
Wow. Okay.
Right?
Are you sure this isn't AI?
Positive. This photo is from the National Geographic website, and they've been vetting their stuff very hard.
The image does look too good to be computer generated. Okay, the coats are the first thing you notice. They're bright, like iridescent. Some of them are white. Some of them are kind of a rainbow pastel. They're a little stockier than I would have thought, but those are some real Lisa Frank style unicorns. A single sparkly golden horn and huge purple eyes, like actual purple eyes, like anime characters. Wow, my 5-year-old niece would be going crazy.
How is she doing, by the way?
Oh, well, you might have seen the Pied Piper did, in fact, hit Charlotte and took the local rats with him. My sister and her family are taking a working vacation at her in-laws in Jacksonville, which at least isn't in the top 50 cities for rat infestations. Apparently, my niece is, sad to be missing kindergarten, which is heartbreaking, really. Mom, why can't I go to school? Oh, it breaks my heart. But when it comes to recorder-wielding strangers amassing a rat army, you can't be too careful. That's what I always say.
Constantly. But I'm glad they're taking it seriously.
I wish they'd done it before the Pied Piper physically showed up in their own backyard. But, hopefully if he does start child luring, there's some kind of range on his powers.
There has to be, right? He needed to visit each of the cities separately.
That's a decent point. So, no news is good news. Well, not good news, but certainly better than news. To be honest, I think I'd rather deal with a tiger.
I hear that.
So, unicorns. All 10 of them.
As far as conservationists can tell, there are now 15. We know at least 5 were born last spring.
Oh, baby unicorns. And no losses? How are they staying safe out there in the land of bears and mountain lions?
Well, something that might not be apparent from the photos is that their hooves are sharp. And if anyone or anything comes along that seems to pose a threat, they are not afraid to use them or the horn. There's footage of the herd taking down an actual grizzly that came after one of their young.
Seriously?
Let's just say those beautiful pink coats, I think they might have originally been white.
Whoa. Okay, so they have no natural predators?
Theoretically, wolves hunt in big coordinated groups, and we've been trying to bring them back to Colorado for years. They could be a threat at some point, but so far only one wolf pack has been reintroduced to the state, and its hunting territory is pretty far away.
So they eat grass, leaves, the blood of their enemies?
Grass. They are grazers and ruminants. Dad made a note of this. Kind of like deer, as far as we can tell, they actually appear to be more closely related to cows than horses.
Okay, did not know that about deer.
You, along with most people who weren't raised by my dad.
I also would not have guessed about unicorns. It does make sense, in a way. Horses, no horns. Cows, sometimes horns. Male cows, at least. Bulls?
Wild cows have horns, males and females.
I'm learning about deer. I'm learning about cows.
Yeah, dairy cows and the like are either bred to be hornless or farmers have the horns removed. They need them for self-defense in the wild, but in an enclosed space like a pen, they're actually safer without them. Otherwise, if they panic, they could hurt each other.
That's a little creepy. We'll just be taking those.
Animal domestication, arguably kind of a mixed bag for the animal.
How did you? Is that in your dad's notes?
Okay, I admit. I had a friend in high school who grew up on a farm. I also had a pretty big crush on him, so I was inclined to remember what he told me.
Oh, young Jamie trying to flirt like, so can you tell me more facts about livestock?
That is disturbingly accurate.
I know, I can see it.
Anyway, unicorns.
Cow cousins, yes. They look pretty sturdy, but I would have thought something in the pony family.
They're also, I'm assuming you've never seen a photo of them next to something you can use for scale.
You guessed correctly.
Sending you a second photo.
Waiting for the second. Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
They are, they're massive. Either that or this person is super tiny.
Head to rump, an adult unicorn can be up to 11 feet, 6 inches long, about the size of an adult male bison.
Really?
And unfortunately, that is foreshadowing.
They're fighting the bison? Buffaloing the buffalo?
Okay, not directly, but if they keep reproducing with nothing to cull them, they could have a huge impact on the ecology of the Front Range and the Sawatches.
They're an invasive species.
Exactly. Which means not only are they local megafauna, they fall square into the bucket of Dad's special interests. So, a little background Dad has for us. What is an invasive species? Okay, like we have some idea of it, but the technical definition.
Something like a creature or a plant that came from a non-native source.
Correct. Sometimes called an exotic species or an alien species, both of which the connotations there.
Not great.
Not great, no. The other trait of an invasive species is that they are, by definition, a problem. This is courtesy of the USDA Forest Service's website. Their existence in the ecosystem causes or is likely to cause harm to the economy, the environment, or human health. So there's a recent-ish study from Germany that argues basically that this should be the defining trait of what we call an invasive species, even if it's native to the area, that the harm done is the more important part.
So something that gets brought over but doesn't spread everywhere or cause anything to die isn't invasive?
Right, exactly. A lot of stuff we grow in gardens, for instance, are pretty much fine. Tulips, daffodils, anything like that, but not all of it. Gardeners don't get off scot-free here. Just ask anyone who's ever tried to grow mint in their yard.
Ugh, mint, my nemesis.
Even when you try to contain it in a pot or something, mint does not want to be constrained. A mint root system can send out shoots even several feet away from the main plant.
It ruins a perfectly good scoop of chocolate chip ice cream.
Like most invasive species, it has its place.
In the trash. Sorry, continue.
The trouble is when you move it to an environment where it doesn't belong, everything can get out of whack fast. Maybe in its native soil, there are other plants or animals to keep it in check. But you upset that balance, you end up with an organism with, for instance, no natural predators. And it can flourish at the expense of everything else native to the area.
Like the unicorns could do to the bison.
Yes. Okay, a quick little bison primer. Prior to European interference, something like 60 million bison roamed the American West. They were a vital part of the ecosystem, and they were culturally and materially important to many indigenous groups. Then, the settlers came and just did their thing.
Thing here meaning genocide.
Genocides,
Ugh.
technically. So white people did their level best to wipe out the bison, hoping it might help them wipe out the people who depended on them. And we are here today to talk about animals, but make no mistake, killing and displacing humans is way worse by an order of magnitude. Purely in terms of ecosystems, local indigenous groups and other conservationists have been working on getting those numbers back up from something like 325 in 1884 to, and I think this is incredible, 500,000 in 2017.
Ooh.
And that is basically where things stand right now.
Ominous.
Some eyewitness accounts suggest that unicorns eat the grass down farther than the bison, which sounds like a pretty prosaic problem, but not when you consider that bison could go the way of the takahe.
Why, Jamie, what are, or possibly were, the takahe?
Okay, so Dad's original notes had this as a very quick aside, but I had never heard of them, and I fell down a little bit of a rabbit hole, and I swear we'll get back to unicorns, but just really quick. Okay. Takahe are extremely round birds native to New Zealand. They are really delightfully round. Okay, you know what? This episode has enough heavy parts, and I think you deserve to see a picture of one of these little suckers. So here.
Okay, clicking on the... Oh. Okay.
Malik, could we get a poet's description of one of these guys?
Okay, yes. If you crossed a parrot with a chicken or possibly like a beach ball and covered that bird in dark iridescent feathers, I believe the term is friend-shaped.
Oh, friend-shaped. It's perfect. Yes, we will use that. So these little ones, they are also grazers, but unlike cows, bison, or unicorns, they're not ruminants. In fact, they have a short little digestion system, so the only part of the grass they can manage are the tender baby shoots. But okay, they lived in New Zealand for a long time. They left the rest of the grass alone. The grass could survive it. They could survive it. Everything was fine.
I'm sensing an until.
A lot of things contributed to the takahe reaching a threatened status, but one problem was... I bet you can guess. The British showed up and they went...
Right-o, old boy. Time to do a spot of colonialism. Sorry, I know your feelings on accents.
You know what? In this case, I don't mind. Because that is what they did. In a lot of really reprehensible ways. But the relevant part here... They brought European deer with them for food. The deer graze much more thoroughly than the takahe. They eat the whole grass. So in addition to starving out those poor birds, they also wreaked havoc on the native plants. The British also brought stoats to hunt, and the stoats in turn hunted the takahe. At one point, it really seemed like the takahe had gone totally extinct.
Seemed? Cue happy ending?
Well, in November 1948, an expedition spotted a few survivors, and eventually that number got up to about 400. They mostly lived in Fiordland National Park, which is the largest national park in New Zealand. But by 1982, the population had dropped back to 118 because they were also in competition with more local deer. So eventually the park started practicing deer control.
Oh, my favorite new wave band. Hello, New Zealand! We are deer control!
So in this case, back to what I was talking about. In this case, it means shooting the deer by helicopter.
Oh, God. A much less popular band.
And now the number is more like 500. Not extinct by any means, but nationally vulnerable.
And the only reason it's not worse is because they shot deer from a helicopter.
Correct.
Jamie, please tell me that's not the moral of the story.
Okay, I am not saying it's open season on unicorns tomorrow.
Okay.
I mean, look at them. Look at that photo of that herd with the wind in their manes. Even the weird preppers up in the mountains would pause before taking a shot at that.
They do have a certain amount of, I don't even know what to call it.
Ooh, do the kids still say Riz?
It was Oxford English Dictionary's word of the year in 2024, narrowly beating out Thrun.
That's right. Okay, so no.
Yeah, I think it's over.
In all seriousness, there's this concept in ecology, the charismatic species.
Ah, an elephant who was born to entertain, a bobcat with a twinkle in its eye.
Actually, you are not far off.
Ooh.
You know how it's always like, save the whales, but I'm sure you've never heard, save the plankton. People tend to rally around the bigger, cooler, and or cuter animals. But the hope is, if we can get the public thinking about what's best for whales, that will naturally improve conditions for everything below them in the pecking order, too.
I mean, that makes sense, though. Although now I think I feel weirdly bad for plankton. Where's its Pixar film?
At some point, it becomes an animal popularity contest, but I'm trying to say unicorns kind of represent the flip side of the charismatic species advantage. So instead of urging us to positive action, making sure the ecosystem stays safe and balanced, their majesty could stun us into inaction long enough for their numbers to get out of control. So left unchecked, things could get bad, and not just for the bison.
Why? What's worst case scenario?
Feral hogs. So a short version of what's becoming a familiar story. Around the 1500s, the Spanish brought domestic pigs over to this country to eat. Some escaped. Some were allowed to wander away, and some were probably abandoned. So they were already causing a lot of destruction. And in this case, it actually got worse.
What, they learned how to use tools? They started to form a rudimentary civilization?
They are extremely intelligent, but not yet. In the 1800s and 1900s, people, we don't really know who, but it definitely happened multiple times, also brought over Eurasian wild boars, which are even more likely to destroy everything in their path. These also got loose.
Who would have seen it coming?
The two strains continued separately and also crossbred, and now much of the American South has free-roaming feral hog populations. Sightings have been reported as of 2023 in 28 states. We could have as many as 9 million of them.
Do they, I can't believe I'm saying this, do they hog the resources?
Good night.
Listeners, I'm so sorry. It was right there.
Listen, it was. Well, they cause millions of dollars worth of property damage. Lawns, grasslands, the feral hogs eat crops, so farmers hate them. What they don't eat, they often trample with their sharp little hooves, so it dies anyway. And that has an impact on all of us that, eat. Also, these things are big. I mean, they're not unicorn big,
Oh, thank God. I had a bad moment there.
but they're big. An adult feral hog is on average about 180 pounds, and people have reported much larger ones, 500 pounds, even allegedly 790 pounds.
Oh.
And to keep up that bulk, they eat a ton of native animals every year, not just lizards, amphibians, and bird eggs.
Bird eggs? How? Ground birds, right? Like turkeys. They're not climbing trees with their hooves or building elaborate pulley systems?
Not yet, but correct. They also eat snakes and even baby deer. They dig through the ground with their tusks, disturbing animal burrows. And they're also fundamentally still pig-like in a lot of ways. So in addition to eating almost anything, they wallow, which is great for the feral hogs.
Yeah, but rough if you care about the state of the land.
As if that wasn't bad enough, feral hogs have been known to dig under non-electrified fences, letting captive animals loose as well.
Ugh, I bet they don't recycle either.
So Dad says there are also recorded cases of feral hogs attacking pets or young children.
Okay, that was a bad moment for levity.
You didn't know, and I'm comfortable blaming the hogs.
And the conquistadors. And the whoever looked at this situation and thought, what we need here are bigger, scarier pigs. The Eurasian boar.
Absolutely. The animals are just trying to survive. Well, survive and multiply.
Aren't we all? So, any lessons here? Any weapons in our tool belt against hogs, or more to the point, unicorns? What do we do?
Well, I do have a handy dandy list of what we can do, but we should take a quick ad break.
Yes, but first, a little housekeeping. Hi, listeners. Thank you for being here. Life is so weird right now, and we appreciate sharing it with you.
Seriously, it continues to be amazing that you hang out with us while we spout off into microphones.
Spout, spout, spout. There are 2 things I'd like to ask you to do. The first is to tell your friend about the show. You know which friend? The one you text constantly about the state of the world, the one you send voice memos because you just can't fit it all into a text.
Malik, are you describing me?
That one friend who helps you keep your head above water. Yes, I am. Tell them about the podcast. We'd love it if they were a listener.
Jokes aside, that is the best way people find out about the show, so send it to a friend.
Second thing, become a member. You get ad-free access to our show and all the other Audacious Machine shows. And we put out bonus content regularly.
I'm going to be real. I cut so many stories about invasive species to make the outline for this episode a reasonable length. Some of those will for sure end up in an upcoming bonus episode.
Yes! So come hear us talk about more invasive species and the X-Files and listen to Jamie's collection of Sasquatch voice memos or whatever fun, weird thing we end up doing next. Membership is $5 a month for all this fun. And you can find all that information at audaciousmachinecreative.com.
Great pitch. Thank you. Ad break.
Ad break. Badoom!
We are back and we are talking about unicorns.
Well, we were talking about feral hogs, who are, from how it sounds, the victors of the war on feral hogs.
Yeah, so some ecologists are saying there's lessons we can take from the whole debacle.
Other than maybe don't set loose a ton of hyperdestructive quarter-ton preternaturally smart creatures with sharp tusks.
Correct.
What would those lessons even be?
Not to let it get this bad again?
Okay, but a lesson that is act without further direction doesn't feel the most useful.
Like I said earlier, there's probably not an easy answer. We might need to take a lot of different steps at once.
Are we back to hunting unicorns?
It depends. It depends on what you mean by that. Are we a couple now?
My dreams come true. Straight Malik.
Okay, listen. Sorry I went there. I don't think we can take the literal hunting of the actual unicorn, the beast, off the table.
Okay, but that particular table, do we ally ourselves with the people out there trying to kill them for their horns?
Well, I hope not. Wait, you've heard about that?
Yeah, one of my sisters just became an ER nurse. They've already admitted a couple of people who tried to eat unicorn horn. Tried being the key word. Apparently, in one case, a guy was sold a mysterious substance that turned out to be cement dust. Ew. But yeah, especially given the everything of it all, a lot of folks are out there like hoping it brings them good luck.
And okay, granted, we live in a time where a lot of things we thought were impossible are just happening all the time. But people, let's not believe everything we hear.
Even beyond saying to yourself, this will have a material effect on my life, what proof do you have that a given seller has genuine unicorn parts at their disposal? These things seem like they could be hard to hunt.
Even if you see the horn, it could be a narwhal tusk someone spray painted gold.
I thought that con died out hundreds of years ago. Not the spray paint, but selling so-called alicorn.
Okay, for the listeners at home, alicorn is
whatever a unicorn horn is made of. It comes up in Renaissance literature.
How long did people believe in unicorns?
Well, before we point a finger at them, they were ultimately right. Also, okay, reports of one-horned beasts have been around since like ancient Mesopotamia. Some of those were definitely just rhinos. The more horse-like animal crops up all over the place in medieval art. Then, in the 1600s, a Danish physician figured out that their whole supply of quote-unquote unicorn horns came from narwhals. But for at least another 100 years, you could buy cure-alls supposedly made from alicorn all across Europe.
That seems way too late if narwhals weren't a secret.
Yeah, even if they'd heard stories about the sea creature with the one giant tusk, I'd argue that makes maybe less sense than unicorns. I just think it's easy to laugh at people from back then. they worked with the information they had.
Well, for the record, the information we have is there's no science whatsoever that consuming unicorn horn is good for you.
PSA, the ER is crowded enough right now. Do not add to it if you don't have to.
And if you do somehow wind up with a unicorn horn, don't eat it. Don't powder it and mix the powder with a liquid. And for the love of God, don't snort it.
Ugh. Unicorn horn cannot purify water. It does not cure illness or aches and pains. It can't detect poisons.
It is exhausting that we still have to fact check something that was proven wrong back before people knew what oxygen was. But you know what? I guess people just want to believe.
Yeah. And I want to believe there's something we can do about all these invasive species.
So, okay, when it comes to managing an organism that's making its surrounding worse, broadly speaking, there are a few common strategies. There's mechanical control. That's physically removing the culprit, weeding out the invasive plants by hand. It's environmentally friendly, but
A lot of work.
yeah. And if your plant is covering acres of land, it's kind of a non-starter. Trapping and relocating animals would probably also go here. You'd need pretty big, huge traps to catch a unicorn.
Big, huge. Plus, where would you relocate them?
But that's true. Yeah. I mean, at this point, you could argue they're still a massively endangered species, but there's also nowhere you could put them without risking a huge disruption.
A creature without a country.
So sad. There's been some success with electrified fences keeping feral hogs out, but we can't exactly fence in the free-roaming bison. Them being free-roaming is kind of part of the whole point.
Plus, if Oklahoma taught us anything, putting up fences in the West, you're bound to exacerbate the tensions. Farmer versus cowhand, it can get ugly.
Time out. Oklahoma the musical.
Mm-hmm.
Did Oklahoma teach us anything?
Unclear.
There's also chemical control. Herbicides, pesticides, poison. These have exactly the drawbacks you can imagine.
Right. How do you pinpoint a poison to only affect your target?
Yeah, there are some selective herbicides out there, but we don't have them for everything. Also, your targeted species can develop a resistance over time.
So we could end up with a strain of super unicorns who aren't moved by poison.
We could, yes, not to alarm anyone.
Which would probably convince even more people that they could poison-proof themselves by eating alicorn.
This category could also include introducing contraceptives into an animal population, but that's also tricky.
Yeah, I don't want to be the guy whose job it is to teach a buffalo-sized mammal how to put on a condom.
I don't either. Okay, yeah. So it's more like sterilization. There's substances that can lower the sperm count if you can find a way to lace their food supply in a way where no other animals can access it. This has been talked about for feral hogs. It's a little harder for a creature that's out there grazing across vast quantities of land. And also, how do you arrange that in such a way that you don't put another huge dent in the bison population?
Well, I'm stumped.
Now, the next category can also be messy.
That appears to be the theme of the episode. Continue.
Yes, biological control. So you bring in another creature that will keep your invasive species in check. You just have to monitor them like really, really carefully so there are no unintended consequences. Like that kid's song where they bring in snakes, to eat all the rats, and then bears to eat all the snakes, and then there's so much gore that they bring back in the rats to eat.
Jamie, I don't know what that is, but that's not a children's song.
My grandma sang it to me. Oh, this is one of those things where my experiences are not universal.
Yeah, I think that qualifies. Okay, so how would that work with unicorns even? What could we bring in at that point? Like, they made a grizzly bear stand down. What does that leave?
Unicorns bitten by a werewolf?
Oh, wow. No, thank you. Plus, they'd have to get bitten first. And it sounds like they've got decent defenses. Not to mention, we thought horse wolves were hard to contain, having some real misgivings about biological control.
There's examples of this strategy working, though. We imported 2 species of Australian parasitic wasps to California to curb the mealybug problem. Or in Australia, they were having a problem with European rabbits, so a virus was introduced that targets them, and it brought the numbers down.
Weaponizing War of the Worlds.
Right? That old story where the space aliens died because they can't handle our diseases.
It seems like that could go just so wrong, though.
Oh, absolutely. And even if we can find a virus that would only affect unicorns, it's the same problem as poison. They could develop an immunity. We've already covered why that's bad. Even before you consider a virus might mutate and spread into something else. So next, there's what's called cultural control. That's where we change human behavior and our surroundings to not advantage the invasive species as much. Altering the water levels of an area, or planting a ton of native plants to choke out the encroachers. It would also include educating the public, making sure they know how to do their part.
Like, don't plant mint in an outdoor garden.
It can also include laws governing the invasive species in question by restricting their importation, transportation, and sale, which might be less of an issue here because I don't see anyone loading a herd of unicorns onto a flatbed.
But we do need regulation around the sale of unicorn horn.
Oh, very true. So finally, some combination of all of the above. So for this to really work, though, for any of it to work, the entire area dealing with the issue needs to work together across state and regional lines. And nearby areas need to be warned what they could be in for. My dad left an example of when this doesn't work, too. The burros of the West.
Burros. Like donkeys?
A lot like donkeys, yes. A little ding, ding, ding. They're originally from Africa. They were brought to the Americas by the Spanish in the 1500s. And then in the gold rush, they really started spreading in the American West as pack animals. Some of them escaped or were abandoned, and now places like California and Nevada are overrun with feral burros. Because they evolved for Africa, they were well suited to arid climates and can outcompete the local animals, outcompete them in a desert where resources are already scarce. However, some people love them because they're kind of cute. They have these big, soulful eyes, and they draw tourists. And that means that even if, say, parts of Nevada are trying to get rid of them and make more space for native species, other parts are openly feeding them and encouraging them to propagate, leaving them free to just wander back. And they're actually federally protected by a law, the Wild Free Roaming Horses and Burros Act of 1971.
A law protecting invasive species.
Correct, but just the cute ones.
Is there any worry someone might try to argue that the act also protects unicorns? I know and you know they're not horses, but when has science stopped us?
Are you reading ahead in my notes, or are we...
Just that in sync? I believe we are.
Wow. Okay, and yeah, PETA is already trying to lobby to include them. The closest town to the unicorn sightings is all in favor because the more unicorns there are, the more unicorn tourism. The more unicorn tourism, the more keychains, cell phone cases, and novelty bongs they can sell.
I think we're going to have a pretty hard time convincing absolutely everyone to take action against the spread of unicorns.
Seriously.
You're next, Nevada. The unicorns versus Vegas. Wait, have they attacked people?
Well, I haven't seen any reports yet.
But in the meantime, we're doing nothing about them. We're just letting them loom over us and the bison and the whole American West?
There is one plan.
Wait, really?
It's early days, but researchers at CU Boulder think we might be able to castrate them. Not chemically, but as in tranking them and physically doing the procedure.
Is that safe?
Well, scientists have run the numbers and they say they're closing in on the dosage needed.
I meant for the people doing the castrating.
Well, hopefully they get hazard pay. And their current employment is tranking and castrating mustangs. So
is it practical?
It is right now when we can track all 15 of them. But it may not be next year when the females all have calves again.
And every year we do nothing, it gets worse.
That's the basics, yeah.
Does Dave have anything else to add?
Well, if he does, I guess he'll just have to stop by and show himself like he said he would.
Hey, is everything?
Oh, baseline, for sure. He loves talking about feral hogs. I'm honestly a little surprised that when it came up, he didn't just smash through the wall like the Kool-Aid man.
I swear, everything I hear about your dad is...
For sure. He's great. He's the best. This would have been more fun with him. I probably should have gone to Boulder.
Next time.
Next time, yeah.
Hey, You're doing fine.
Thanks.
There's no guide on how to deal with this kind of thing.
Story of our lives. Boulder's cool, though. It's like an hour away. It's on the edge of the mountains, and there's good restaurants and buskers and bookstores.
We should go there when I come visit you in 2 weeks.
Oh, absolutely. Let's, oh my God, it's taking everything in me not to plan out like a 6-page itinerary.
Girl, plan away. Sounds like fun.
Actually, do you want to keep talking about this off mic? Because I realized I don't even know if you like to hike.
I like to walk. How different can it be?
Oh, at a mile above sea level and 6-degree grade? Those are famous last words, baby. Okay, all right. In closing, if we've learned one thing today.
We learned about Teen Jamie's cow-adjacent flirting skills.
Easy now. And look, there aren't simple answers here. There's no magic bullet. But the longer we let the perfect be the enemy of the good, the fewer options we have to actually solve this at all. And hey, if you live in Colorado or you're just concerned about invasive species, maybe donate a few bucks to the ecology department at CU Boulder. I'm Jamie.
I'm Malik.
And this has been another episode of World Gone Wrong. We know.
Are we going to need bear spray?
What?
For the unicorns.
Honestly, that is not a bad idea. We know things are getting weirder every day, but we hope you're baseline, and we wish you all a better tomorrow.
And even when it's ashes, there'll be part of me that wishes we could stay.
Jamie and Malik are played by Hilary Williams and Michael Turrentine.
This episode was written by Jessica Best.
Directed and edited by Jeffrey Nils Gardner.
Our show art is by Carly Fairbanks.
And our bangin' theme song is Falling in Love at the End of the World by Olivia and the Lovers.
World Gone Wrong is produced and created by Jeffrey Nils Gardner and Eleanor Hyde.
This is a production of Audacious Machine Creative.
In this place, once known as Hartford, Connecticut, the wind doesn't howl. It screams. That screaming wind careens maliciously across the vast tundra until it breaks against the side of a monolithic structure. The Heart Life Tower, former home of the Heart Life Insurance Company. Dear listener, these are the true dramatizations of our fair city's glorious history. You will meet the brave bureaucrats that keep us safe and orderly.
Sorry for the confusion. MURDER is actually an acronym for our department. An unfortunate coincidence.
The abominable mole people who dig the tunnels that keep us warm.
They don't exist. There's no such thing as ant people. Mole people.
And the most dangerous villains of all. Scientists.
I swear, I'd forget my head if it wasn't sewn on.
To say nothing of lightning riggers, time travelers, and simple interns, every policy has a story to tell. Join us, dear listener, for the tale of our fair city, wherever you listen to podcasts. And remember, you owe everything to Heart Life. All the life you'll ever need.
With so many options, why choose Arizona State University?
For me, the only online option was ASU because of the quality. Their faculty was really involved with their students and care about your personal journey. The dedication to my personal development from my professors, that's been extremely valuable to me.
Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Explore more than 350 plus undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.